Today on the show, devastating health news for Chief Safety Eric Berry.
And yes, Johnny Manziel strikes again. Plus, we'll let you know how some of these NFL owners made their billions.
And since it's Thanksgiving week, Bo and I debate our Thanksgiving side item power rankings. Important stuff. Plus, all the NFL picks you can fit on your plate. It's all coming up on the Sean and Bo Show. Boom. We're back once again. Welcome to Sean O'Donnell Show. Sean O'Donnell along with my co-host, as always, Bo Greer. Bo, happy Turkey Week. I know for food lovers the world over, this is a big time holiday.
Yeah, I mean, there's no joke. I remember I was about 6 years old. We had to write down our favorite holidays and favorite things to do in the summer. And my teacher, she got a big kick that at an early age I put favorite holiday Thanksgiving, when every kid hands down chose Christmas. She's like, why not Christmas? I was like, because the presents mess up all the eating time. It just gets in the way of more eating.
It should be a new slogan for the holiday Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, Fat Kid Christmas.
Yes, that's what it is. It's Fat Kid Christmas.
Trying to fall asleep the night before, just thinking about turkey and gravy.
Dancing in your head, drumsticks, dancing around, singing songs.
And later on in the show, we are going to debate our Thanksgiving side item power rankings, so be sure you don't miss that. But last night, Bo, Rick Pitino absolutely put the smackdown on Savannah State. I think it was like 23-0 to start it off or something like it. It was ugly. And after the game, Rick Pitino was asked, about the performance of his team and Savannah State and just how he was dealing with the enormous differential in skill between the two teams. And he had this to say.
No, I don't like to see any team struggle like that. I really don't. I mean, I tried everything. We played 4 white guys and an Egyptian. I mean, we tried everything.
Coming up next after 3.5 men, it's 4 white guys and an Egyptian, only on CBS.
Takes on Savannah State and just crushes them. I mean, it's amazing.
Gotta love the playful racism of Coach Pitino.
But it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself, number one, is it racist or is he's making a point? I mean, everybody agrees with that. We know. We see athletes on TV and we know what they look like. I just think it's funny, Sean, because being an athlete myself, being around coaching, whenever you're around other guys, if they played Division III or Division II football or basketball, there's always an excuse. Well, I was going to go to UCLA, but see what had happened was, those guys at Savannah State, no more excuses.
I don't think they're going to Kentucky, but their mom wouldn't let them.
Yeah. There's no excuses that you can say anymore. When the person on that court wearing a Savannah State jersey worthy of a Division I basketball game, obviously.
Now, you were watching some Kentucky basketball the other night, and you noticed something.
Yeah, I was actually over at the Buffalo Wild Wings. What you do when you have kids is you plant the seed early in the day. You tell the kids, hey, I want some wings tonight. So they start thinking about it, and then they tell Mom, we want wings. So we ended up at Buffalo Wild Wings.
That is diabolical. I love it.
Yes, it's great. So I'm sitting there, and I'm watching Boston University. Obviously they're going to have a bunch of seniors on your team because they're not going there because the NBA is calling them. Those kids are going after an education and possibly a D-League tryout. So when you have those teams that are, just have seniors all over the roster, it was a 7-point, 10-point game.
You see it every single tournament. You see a team that might not have the individual skill players, but they know how to play together as a team. And if you have that team dynamic, a team that knows how to move the ball around, distribute, and all that, get to the hot hand, they can upset a powerhouse.
So you know me, Sean. Eventually, as soon as I finished my last boneless wing and fries, I rushed home, grabbed some yarn, and started with my string theory. I already have Boston U as my number 1 likely upset in the tournament. They're going to take down a number 1 seed.
Bold.
just based on what I saw at Buffalo Wild Wings on Friday.
While we're on the topic of basketball, you noticed, Bo, that Paul Pierce really has his game on point right now.
Yeah, my man Paul Pierce. I love to see players on that farewell tour. You're just playing out the last 3 years because your contract is so enormous that the team that gave it to you, it cannot take it on anymore. They just got to get rid of you. So you either go to like what now the Lakers take on those contracts or the Wizards, teams like that. And Paul Pierce, he's doing his farewell tour, and he's sitting there on the bench after dropping like 30 points, 10 assists, and a young lady wearing a Celtics jersey comes walking up, and you're thinking, no, he's not going to do it. Yes, he turns around, signs her sneakers, and I just love it because we live in the era of free agency. Fans of LeBron in Cleveland, although that's kind of a debacle right now, if he wins you a championship, 5 years go by and he's on the road in Miami and some Heat fan comes up and it's a little kid, he's going to sign that shoe. He's going to sign that jersey because it's the right thing to do. These guys play for more than one team, yes, but they're ultimately going to retire for one organization. Paul Pierce is going to retire a Celtic. Why not sign the young lady's shoes? I have no problem with that. How about you?
Supporting the local economy. I love it.
There you go.
Well, free agent NFL quarterback Tyler Thigpen got himself into a bit of trouble. He was arrested early Sunday morning in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, charged with a DUI. But the details of this has got to be like the ultimate come on man of all come on mans. He was arrested because he fell asleep sitting in a Wendy's drive-thru. Okay, according to the police reports, they noticed that the car had been there for about 20 minutes and wasn't moving, so they investigated and saw old Thigpen crashed out over the steering wheel. And my favorite part about this is, according to the police report, it took them several minutes to awaken Thigpen. And when he got up, he didn't know where he was or how he'd gotten there. So, I mean, look, DUIs are bad. You shouldn't drink and drive, but he didn't even get his Baconator, man. He went to jail without his Frosty.
Yeah, and he broke all the rules of late night munchies. We all know the rules, Sean. If you're just a little buzzed, but you're not sleepy, it's safe to hit up a drive-thru. But man, if you got the yawns, you need to order pizza. They have wings, they have side salads, they even got some crazy bread for you. There's a nice selection at your local pizza eateries late night. Next time, call Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's. Save yourself this embarrassment, son.
The Twitter jokers were in full effect following this. I saw one tweet that said, surprisingly, this wasn't even his worst short drive of his career. Ouch.
That hurts.
Some sad news, Bo. I'm a Chiefs fan, but beyond that, one of my very favorite players in the entire NFL is perennial Pro Bowl safety Eric Berry of the Chiefs. Just sad, devastating news came out just a couple days ago, Bo. Following the Thursday night game against the Raiders, he was complaining of some chest discomfort. Doctors checked him out at the game, didn't find anything unusual, gave him an X-ray. That came back negative. There were just no signs to an orthopedic injury. So the team doctor recommended that they give him an MRI. And they ended up finding what they're calling a mass in his chest above the lymph nodes. And this is most likely non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer, in other words. And my mom actually worked in this industry. She was a lymphedema therapist, and she was telling me that when this shows up with a young person, Eric Berry is only 25, the earlier it shows up, generally, the more bleak the prognosis. It's not good, especially when you consider that this guy's a professional athlete. He's in great shape. For that to show up is just a bad, bad sign. So now Eric Berry out for the year, might be out for his career. We really don't know. It's just going to be a matter of how he responds to the therapy and the chemo and all that stuff. But he issued the following statement. Quote, I am truly thankful for all the support from family, friends, coaches, teammates, and the entire Chiefs kingdom. At first, I was in shock with the diagnosis on Saturday and did not even want to miss a game, but I understand that right now I have to concentrate on a new opponent. I have great confidence in the doctors and the plan they're going to put in place for me to win this fight. I believe that I am in God's hands, and I have great peace in that. I know my coaches and teammates will hold things down here the rest of the season and until I am back running out that tunnel at Arrowhead. I am so thankful and appreciative of being a part of this franchise and playing in front of the best fans in the NFL. I will be back.
Yeah. This is one of those stories you see it come across the wire, or maybe you seen it on TV or read it online. You take a moment and you think about how fortunate we are. Sometimes in this country, the only thing we can think about that'll change our lives is money, financial status. This young man had that happen to him, and now he is in a fight for his life. You look around that organization and what they've dealt with over the past couple of years, you're going to have people in that locker room like Jamal Charles, Andy Reid, who has lost a family member. You know that they're going to come to his aid, but things like this, they go beyond football. And I seen a story recently about Jim Kelly, Hall of Famer, who, through his battle with cancer.
Yep.
They credited his recent victory, the fight's not over, it's never over, with going back to Buffalo and how he's able to channel that energy from those fans. And I said, when I seen this, I was like, what a great Midwest city, what a great Midwest group of fans. I hope that he has a strong network around him because he's going to need it, and our prayers are with him. But I like what he said at the end of the interview, when he said, "I'll be back." I like that. I like that fighter spirit, and we're all rooting for you, Eric Berry.
Absolutely. And sometimes these types of footballisms sound real cliche, but win or lose, after every game in the Chiefs locker room, they huddle together and say family on three. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what he's going to need, the support from the organization, the fans. And like Bo said, our thoughts and prayers are with Eric Berry and his family. It's just tragic, especially when it happens to a 25-year-old that, he's done great things. He's got a free football camp for underprivileged kids. He built a youth football stadium in Atlanta. He's just a good guy. And this just goes to show you cancer, it's indiscriminate. It can affect anybody. It doesn't care if you're a good person or not. And it's just a damn shame. And we're hoping that Eric Berry wins that battle.
Yep.
Well, got to brighten the mood a little bit with a feel-good story. A guy that seemingly does no wrong on or off the field right now, and that's J.J. Watt. We know about his accomplishments on the field. He's been playing some offense even, just absolutely balling this
looks
season.
Like a tight end, an all-pro tight end right now.
Yeah, but he's getting some credit now for something he did today off the field. Sent a bunch of pizza to Houston firefighters and police. Very cool. Included with the pizzas, he wrote them a little letter. It read, I just wanted to send y'all a small token of my appreciation for everything you do. My dad and uncle were both firefighters, so I spent a lot of time around the firehouse when I was younger and gained a great deal of respect for both firefighters and the police force along the way. Y'all show up day in and day out, never knowing what the day might hold and never getting enough thanks for what you do, yet you continue to put others before yourselves and save lives because of it. As athletes, we often get the headlines and big crowds, but just like the men and women in our military, y'all are the ones who truly deserve the credit, appreciation, and admiration. I know it's not much, but please enjoy lunch on me today. Thank you for all you do. J.J. Watt, number 99.
Yeah. That right there those are the types of stories we like to hear. In a summer that was filled with the Ray Rices, and then it ended up with the Adrian Peterson scandal. We needed something like that. J.J. Watt's a great guy. He takes care of his business on the field. But, him being the child of a fireman, I understand that. My grandfather, he was a police officer. My brother's a police officer. My uncle's a first responder, EMT, and I just remember being in a small rural area. You may go months not hearing about it, but eventually somebody would get to you in a grocery store and be like, "Hey, man, just got to say, your grandfather, your uncle, they did this, that, and the house was on fire. Or I wrecked my car and I was trapped." And you're like, He never told me about that. It's just what they do.
Yep.
It's their job.
Day in and day out.
He's not going to come home and be like, guess what I did today, kids, because that's his job.
Well, coming up on the show, Johnny Manziel's at it again, gets himself into some trouble. We'll talk about that. Plus, have you ever wondered how the NFL billion-dollar owners made their riches before making their big purchases? We'll discuss that as well. And then later on in the show, Thanksgiving side item power rankings, as well as all the NFL picks you can handle. It's all coming up on the Sean and Bo Show.
Hello, all you loyal Sean and Bo Show listeners. This is Bo of the Sean and Bo Show. Just reminding you, share the show with a coworker, a friend, family member. Just let them know about the show and check us out on seanandboshow.podomatic.com. That's seanandboshow.podomatic.com. And remember, we're always available with the free catalog on seanandboshow.podomatic.com.
Welcome back to the Sean and Bo Show. Now, Bo, you probably heard about this last week following the Seahawks' loss to the Chiefs. Marshawn Lynch fined $100,000 for his unwillingness to speak to reporters after the game.
That's a house, Sean.
That's a lot of money for most everybody, and I'm sure Marshawn Lynch doesn't even like parting with that 100 gur, but yeah, Roger Goodell fined him, and if I'm being honest, I think it's kind of BS that the league fines players for basically just being shy, not wanting to talk to reporters and such. Seems like a raw deal. And we know Marshawn just isn't a big fan of the media in general, which is why I was floored when Marshawn Lynch's publicist reached out to me this afternoon about getting Marshawn Lynch onto the show.
This is amazing. On a short week, you got a big Thanksgiving Day game. We're going to get Mr. Marshawn Lynch here in studio. Bring him in, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't believe we're going to have the guy on, but we're pleased to now welcome to the Sean and Bo Show, Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn, man, thank you so much for doing this, taking a few minutes out of your busy day to join us. You doing all right this evening, Marshawn?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I know you have to keep your body in peak physical conditioning and stay with like organic foods and that sort of thing. So I thought it'd be nice. I squeezed some orange juice just for you. Here's a nice tall glass for you to enjoy during the interview, Marshawn.
No juice.
Oh, Marshawn, man, I made this juice myself, man. Come on, try it at least.
No juice.
Come on, Marshawn, man. This is some of the best juice you ever had. Hey, I got some gin over here. How about I throw some gin in that juice?
No juice.
Oh, man. Come on,
Well,
Marshawn.
maybe just once the gin. Marshawn, do you enjoy gin?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It's you either like it or you don't. Do you want some gin or not?
Maybe.
All right, Bo, pour him a glass. Here you go, Marshawn.
Yeah.
All right, now we know that you're a big fan of Skittles, and I was just wondering, after Halloween, there's a lot of candy lying around. Are there any other types of candy that you like to eat besides Skittles?
I don't know.
Marshawn, man, you said you wanted to come on and talk to us. You think you could help us out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, since we're on the topic of what you do when you're not playing football, I understand you have a pretty nice Lamborghini. And,
Yeah.
And Bo, you noticed something about Marshawn and his Lambo.
Yeah. I was checking out, I believe it was Reddit. And Marshawn, I got to ask you, where do you keep the red velvet rope that you put around the vehicle when you get out of there? Where do you keep that stuff?
I don't know.
You don't know? How do you know, man? It's your car.
Maybe.
What, maybe, does this have anything to do with the Seahawks not paying you in this contract negotiation?
Yeah.
I heard first.
Man, this is going to be on ESPN tomorrow.
I hear Dan Patrick talk about how hard this is. I get to these guys in a matter of seconds.
That's right. You heard it here, man. Well, Marshawn, I know you're a busy guy and all, and we didn't want to keep you too much longer, but later on in the show, we're going to be talking about our Thanksgiving favorite foods. Are you more of a mashed potatoes guy, or are you more about that stuffing?
I'm just about that action, boss.
Well, all right, Marshawn. Thanks for nothing, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't believe we had him on the show, but there you have it. Marshawn Lynch breaking headlines.
We'll take what we can get right now. We're a young show. I'm just glad he was able to come on in a short week on his way to play the Niners.
Unbelievable. Well, on another note, Johnny Manziel has managed to get himself into trouble yet again. This time, Bo, it revolves around a late-night scuffle at his highfalutin apartment complex in downtown Cleveland. Bo, what they're saying is that, the story I heard was that some drunk guy saw Manziel and his crew, and I'm the biggest Browns fan ever, and went in for a hug, and they didn't take too kindly for that, and basically they jumped him.
Yeah.
Well, now we're hearing from Manziel's agent, who said, quote, Johnny and his roommate had been out to dinner earlier in the evening with Johnny's mother, who is staying with him this week. There was no entourage. Johnny and his roommates were trying to get on the apartment elevator at his home when they were accosted by a very aggressive man and his associates. It was an unfortunate situation, and he immediately let Browns general manager and the team know what happened. So, the first thing is, where's the video? Did the NFL buy it, or did Johnny Manziel buy it?
Yeah.
It's out there. You don't have a luxury high-rise without cameras everywhere.
Yeah, but those luxury high-rises, that's a lot of times, that's what comes with the money you pay, is you're protected inside those buildings. Anything happens, they'll freaking go to the courthouse live for you because they're protecting that $3,800 a week rent. That's all that is.
That's a good point, and I kind of echo what the Browns organization said following this. They basically stated that they were upset more about the time that this happened, because this was at, basically 2:36 a.m. on a Friday before a game on Sunday. I mean, do you think that's commonplace that players are staying out that late?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what does he have to do the next day? Has he got to go to class? I mean, has he got a job? I mean, he's a multimillionaire.
I don't think he's had to go to class for quite some time, even when he was at A&M.
Yeah, he hasn't went to class since high school. That's the last time Manziel went to any class or had books. But, no, this isn't uncommon. Golly, everybody knows. Anybody who is anybody and has ever traveled, you're not rolling out of your hotel until 10 in most decent cities with good cuisine, good nightlife. Because you go too early, the place isn't going to be that happening, or sometimes they'll tell you, well, you got to go at this time because this is the best chef. Every city has a different time, and I'm not that surprised about that. It doesn't upset me. What upsets me is the fact that Johnny is not taking security seriously. A lot of people want to get mad about the entourages that some of these other players have. I smile when I see that. You know me, criminology background, I'm all about security. Whenever somebody is a walking corporation, and anytime you make over a couple $1 million a year, you're a walking corporation. That's enough money in middle America to pay the salaries and feed like 30 families. So you got a guy like that walking down the street. He should have a guy on the right named Bubba and a guy on the left named T-Bone. And nobody gets within 5 feet. If you get within 5 feet, you better be related, or we have checked your back, did a background check on you before you got close.
Hey, get him, T-Bone.
T-Bone, sick him. Oh, man. Oh, come on, Johnny, call me. I played offensive line in college. I can run block for Cleveland, Ohio natives trying to get hugs at 2 a.m.
The other funny part about this story is that he was saying that his brother, the guy that got jumped, that his brother then got involved and sacked Johnny Manziel. like we're supposed to believe that some schlub just pounced on a professional athlete and drove him back. Come on, man.
It's hilarious. Oh, Manziel, don't go anywhere without your offensive lineman anymore.
Well, on another note, Bo, we know that NFL owners are filthy rich.
Silly.
No, that's not a surprise to anybody, but I was kind of surprised by this story I saw today. It's from mentalfloss.com, the writer Nick Green. It's how NFL owners made their money before becoming NFL owners. And, of course, you've got a lot of they inherited the team from their father who inherited the team. You also have a lot of, Jerry Jones-esque stories. There were oil tycoons or real estate moguls or whatever. But there were a few that caught my eye. Arizona Cardinals owner Bill Bidwell. He inherited the Cardinals from his father, which is not surprising, as we noted. But his father was a wealthy Chicago lawyer who apparently had connections to Al Capone.
Nice.
Yeah. Arthur Blank of the Atlanta Falcons. Most people know that he was the co-founder of Home Depot. Mm-hmm. But I thought this was really interesting. In the early days of Home Depot, Blank and his business partner would stand in the parking lot handing out dollar bills to encourage people to come in and browse the store.
Nice.
Business sense.
Nice.
He knew what he was doing. The Carolina Panthers' Jerry Richardson, he owned the Hardee's franchise in South Carolina. Then he became the CEO of a food services company called Flagstar, which ran every Denny's in the country.
I always wondered, because he was a former player, how he got his money up.
Yep. Shahid Khan of the Jacksonville Jaguars. How he got rich? Bumpers. Yeah, bumpers. He worked as an engineering manager at a company called Flexingate, which constructed bumpers for vehicles and some airplane parts. He noticed that there was some inefficiency in the company, kind of streamlined the operations, and started his own company, Bumper Works. Then he ended up acquiring Flexingate. He bought his old company and ended up being the sole bumper manufacturer for Toyota. So Flexingate just last year made $3.9 billion.
There you go.
A couple other ones. Ziggy Wilf of the Vikings. His family were German immigrant Holocaust survivors. And his family gained affluence by selling townhomes and small module houses and a bunch of shopping malls and stuff like that. Rags to riches there for sure. And then finally, the New York Giants, John Mara. His fortune happened because of the original owner, Tim Mara, who was a bookkeeper in the horse racing circuit and bought the Giants for $500 in 1925, despite not knowing anything about football. Pretty good buy.
Yeah, you see that a lot of these rags to riches stories, a lot of them happened few lifetimes ago. Guys like us, our generation, you have to wonder if anybody truly has a shot with the amount of money they make off the TV deals, jersey sales, this sponsorship, local, national, and for some of these teams, international. You have to say to yourself, Sean, I couldn't even hit the lotto 5 times and get the money up to purchase the Cowboys. Like, I would need $10 billion, $20 billion.
You were saying something interesting to me before the show about Radio Shack.
Yeah.
What would it take to buy Radio Shack at this point?
I was checking out CNN Money this morning. Radio Shack's total assets, everything, $85.5 million.
That's it.
Yeah, you can have the whole kit and caboodle. Even throw in Weird Al Yankovic as their new spokesman.
That's so weird to me, man, because I have distinct memories as a little snot-nosed kid going into Radio Shack and looking at all the cool technology and gadgets, and they used to have these cool chemistry sets and crystal radio sets and different stuff you could build, and they kind of got away from that. Now they're just basically a glorified cell phone store.
I remember you could get a set there that was Junior Detective.
Yeah.
And I would often be trying to see
who dust for fingerprints.
Who was touching the stuff in my room. It's, Radio Shack was full of gadgets like that. Now you go in there and they have cell phone chargers. I can get that anywhere, buddy. You need to reinvent yourself, Radio Shack. You're embarrassing the 80s generation here.
They probably don't even sell radios anymore.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Well, you were saying, Bo, that Jay Gruden kind of needs to watch what he says and realize that his words carry some weight.
Yeah, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. I think he took that one the wrong way. Jay, you can't say what you're saying in the media. I mean, this is week 15 we're in? I believe 13, week 13. We are long past player evaluations, yet Jay Gruden's talking about player evaluations. We are long past knowing who the guys are we're going to do battle with, but Jay Gruden's still talking about that. When you put those types of things into print, I often think being an NFL coach is like being the manager of a very successful corporation where a family still has all the power. They pay you a whole lot of money to make decisions, but if that chopper or Bentley rolls up, you better act like you know what you're talking about, buddy. Because Jay, you operate the Washington Redskins. You say things like, I need to evaluate talent, or I don't know where RG3 stands, and all he has had since 2012, I believe, are 3 Pro Bowlers. That's not a lot to deal with and talk about winning games consistently in the NFL. You start pointing those fingers, it's really interesting how that media can start turning that gun and circling them wagons around you. And the next thing you know, Jay, you won't have a buddy in D.C., you won't have a buddy in Bristol, you won't be able to talk to anybody because everybody's going to be back on RG3's side when GM releases a simple statement saying, we gave RG3 a buttload of money. and we're not going to part ways with him. He is our future, and we still believe in him because they always do that. I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. Romo could throw 17 interceptions and give the ball to the other team 5 times and let them score, unabated to the end zone, and he's still going to be my quarterback because we gave him a whole lot of money. Think by now, being an offensive coordinator, you would have learned that these players have a little bit more weight than the coaches do.
My favorite part about what Jay Gruden was saying was that he felt the need to point out that he had been given the authority to bench RG3 if needed. Like, really? The head coach has that authority? Really?
Like he had to ask, Like he went to someone in management and found out, if I sit him down, you guys won't fire me. That's when you know you're not really in charge. And I've always said, win with the pieces that are in front of you. You start wishing about what you had and, Tom Brady does this, or when I was at Cincinnati, we did it. No, you are now the head coach of the Washington Redskins. Coach them. Stop worrying about everybody else and take a page from all the other successful coaches in your business. Stop talking to the media so much. Goodness.
Now, this was probably my favorite story of the week, Bo. We all know about the mess that's happening in Ferguson and all the rioting and just stupid behavior going on right now down there. And, a lot of celebrities take to Twitter to let their opinions be known about the topic and, all this social media crap. And that's all well and good. But you know what I like, Bo? I like somebody that goes and does something. Talk is cheap. Go do something.
Yes.
And we saw just that from Aeneas Williams, who's one of the best defensive players in NFL history. He's a Hall of Famer. He's also a pastor in St. Louis. So what he did was he rounded up a bunch of people and got to boarding up some windows of some homes and shops that had been smashed during the melee and the riots. And he said, quote, "Love never fails. Love is an action word. I see a lot of love here in Ferguson. After all the finger pointing is done, my question is, what are we going to do now? Answer, love."
There you go. Hey, you think he could go ahead and send that tweet out to Kurt Schilling? Golly. Did you see that guy's Twitter timeline over the weekend? First, he started out, with a silly Ferguson comment that I don't even want to get into. And then he started to try to disprove evolution based on something that he's seen on YouTube. So, Kurt Schilling lost a lot of respect for the old bloody sock this weekend.
Now, according to the test that I've run on my bloody sock, this points to the fact that we did not evolve from apes.
They actually ended up getting a baseball personality, a podcaster, suspended off Twitter for a day because he said something along the lines of, "I'll go find an ape bone and slap Schilling with it," or something, and got him in trouble. Yeah, classy.
All right, well, coming up on the Sean and Bo Show, it could be the most important segment we've ever done. Yes, Thanksgiving side item power rankings. You don't want to miss that. As well, of course, NFL picks and college football playoff rankings. It's all coming up on the Sean and Bo Show.
Gluttony.
Hey, folks, thank you very much for listening to the Sean and Bo Show. And we'd like to thank especially listeners who might be listening on Funnel Cake Sports Radio. Thank you guys for checking out the show. If you've ever wanted to check out past episodes, you can listen to the entire catalog for free. Just go to seanandboshow.podomatic.com. And to get in touch with the show, hit us up on Twitter at Sean and Bo Show.
Welcome back to this very thankful Sean and Bo Show. We are so thankful that Turkey Day is upon us once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break down some of our favorite sides to bring to the party.
Before we get to that, Bo, are you more of the multiple trips back to the food, or do you just like to pile it on the first time and then maybe force another plate down your throat later?
Well, when you get into my list and you see what I like, you're going to understand how I'm able to force everything on the one plate. It's a skill.
You have a system.
Yeah, it is a system.
All right. Well, without further ado, this is the 2014 Sean and Bo Show Thanksgiving side dish power rankings. Now, this is a topic that's near and dear to both Bo and I. As larger individuals, we cherish and love these items. We have reverence and respect for these side items, and it's time to give them the glory that they deserve. So we'll bounce back and forth. We're going to present our top 5. Now, at number 5, Bo, where are you going?
Number 5, I got to have the greens. Soul food. Growing up, Grandma could make some great greens, and I have to have those.
Yeah, there's some bacon in there.
You got to use fat. It is basically the backside of the pig. It's like where most people would slice thin and turn into bacon, we keep it thick for the extra saltiness.
I just can't. You know what I've never understood about some good greens? They don't keep at all, man.
No.
Like I'm talking like 6 hours later that you try to eat some and you're like,
If
oh.
you don't eat the whole bowl, when they're done, throw them out. They go right back to the hogs that made them.
All right, at number 5, I think this might ruffle some feathers, Bo. Number 5 in my Thanksgiving side item power rankings, I have slotted cranberry sauce.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, now hear me out.
No.
Hear me out, Bo. If Thanksgiving dinner is sushi, cranberry sauce is the wasabi.
Okay.
You have to have it cleanses the palate. It's tangy, and beyond that, I mean, the sandwich that you make the next day is nothing without that
I
cranberry
save
sauce.
my sweets for where they belong, and that's at the end of the meal with my dessert.
Well, we'll include all sweets in this. I have one slotted further down the list, but I just think it's an integral part. It's yin and yang. You got to have the tart. It's a requirement. It allows you to enjoy.
I know my dad's the same way. He gets mad if he comes to my house for a holiday and I don't have some cranberry sauce. I can't stand that stuff.
And you know what's interesting about cranberry sauce that's not true for other side dishes? Give me the stuff in the can all day long.
Yeah, it's true.
I like having the little imprints from the inside of the can. You can see that it came straight from a processing plant. That's fine.
It's the best.
I've
huh?
had homemade cranberry sauce. It's not as good.
No artificial sweeteners.
You can melt that stuff down and drink it with the straw. And before we get to the rest of our power rankings, it's important to reflect on last year's Thanksgiving where we caught the musings of one Mad Hatter, Les Miles, on his favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal.
I am the easiest man to please when it comes to food. I have to be honest. I think it's definitely the turkey with a warm gravy. Maybe it's the last spoon or fork of food on the plate. That has a little bit of salt and pepper and maybe a little bit of the turkey and gravy and some of the stuffing that would be there, and maybe just a smidgen of that cranberry stuff, right? Not like a big, not kind of overwhelm the last bite, but that right there, oh my goodness, right? That last bite's worth a lot. I might add that the turkey sandwich with mayonnaise, mustard, and onions, and a little salad, a little lettuce, kind of makes for good eating later too, doesn't it? Wish you hadn't mentioned that. I haven't had my lunch yet.
Somebody get that man a newspaper in a bathroom. He's ready. He's ready, man. He sounded like he ate that meal while he was talking about it.
It really did make me hungry just listening to that and thinking about all the food I'm going to eat later this week. But let's get back to the power rankings, Bo. At number 4 in your list, what you got?
Good old giblet gravy. Nothing is complete without topping off everything on my plate with giblet and gizzard gravy. I don't like that fake gravy. I don't know what you call it. You get it in a powdered box or whatever. No, I need to see Grandma taking everything, the innards out of the middle of that turkey, putting them in some sort of boiling pot and letting that thing go all day. And it's primed and ready to go on top of everything on my plate.
I can just
Sean.
imagine a young Bo just being an absolute vulture in the kitchen on these holiday meal days, just watching every move your grandma and mom makes. Bo, get out of here. It's not ready.
All day long.
I can picture it. Absolutely. Okay. Number 4 in my list, our friend Clem from the Clem Report tweeted about this the other day, and I 100% agree with him. It's an unsung hero of the Thanksgiving spread. Give me that stuffing. Cornbread, regular, I don't care. Stovetop box, Pepperidge Farm, made from scratch.
It's all good.
Doesn't matter. You don't think about it often when you're like really trying to capture what the essence of the Thanksgiving meal
Maybe
is.
you don't. I dream about stuffing.
Oh man, just the smell of that stuff and
Love
cooking,
it.
man. That says Thanksgiving right there.
Oh, and I love Daniel Tosh. He said something the other day, and I'd never thought about this my whole entire life. It's butt bread. That's what it is. Like, we all get excited to go eat some butt bread.
Yeah. You cube it up, and it doesn't matter where it came
It
from.
doesn't matter. Stick it in there, bake it. Grandma served it to me. I trust anything Grandma puts in front of me.
Okay, we're now moving up to number 3 on our Thanksgiving side item power rankings. Number 3, what do you have?
Now, this one here is my unsung hero. I mean, it's always there. It's steady. It always tastes the same. It's hard to mess up, and that's good old green bean casserole. And as you talked about earlier, Sean, you got to put some of those crispy
You got it.
fried onions on the top.
You got to have those French's onions on top.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
If you skip that, you can take that green bean casserole and throw it out.
Oh, I'll throw it to the dogs.
Yeah, you need those onions.
It's not allowed in our house.
God, that's good. Number 3 on my list. If your Thanksgiving meal does not include this item, never invite me to your home. It is, at the end of the meal, what you think about while you're laying comatose on a couch watching a football game, and that is a nice slice of pumpkin pie.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have that. I mean, you must have that as part of the Thanksgiving repertoire. And on another note, you got to have that Cool Whip on top.
Yeah, you can't have pumpkin pie without Cool Whip on top.
Should be illegal.
It should. Honestly, it should not even be considered pumpkin pie if it doesn't have Cool Whip on top. They should come up with another name, like poor man's pie. You know, that's what it is.
Failure pie.
Failure pie. You almost made it.
Okay, now we're moving up to the top guns, Bo. Number 2.
This one here has recently climbed its way into my heart. My wife, she makes this up for all the holidays. It's cornbread casserole. It's just good old Jiffy cornbread with some sort of concoction she puts together, bakes it, and it has real corn in it. You know, being from Indiana, you can put corn on a sidewalk, and I'd eat it. I love this cornbread casserole. That's my new favorite, number 2.
Seems kind of bland for a number 2 choice.
It does seem bland, but man, you just got to have it. Like, imagine how good Jiffy cornbread is, and then you put casserole innards in it, and it just bakes, and it gets all cheesy and corny. I love it, man.
Okay, number 2. This was a tough choice. Honestly, my 2 and 1, I was oscillating in between. I didn't know how to slot them, but you know, I said a prayer and the answer came to me. Number 2, as any Irishman out there can attest, the most important of all vegetables, the potato in mashed form. Mashed potatoes all day. Make me extra. Give me my own serving bowl full of them because they're going down my throat. I love mashed potatoes. I'll eat them. Forget the rest of the Thanksgiving meal. Mashed potatoes goes with anything.
Yeah.
And as we discussed earlier, that Black Friday Thanksgiving sandwich that you make, the mashed potatoes are important because it kind of holds the whole sandwich together. It's the keystone of that particular sandwich.
As you know, our listeners, we're in New Mexico, and something that I had never tried, and I'll eat anything. You know that. My wife puts in front of me the first Thanksgiving I spend with her family in northern New Mexico. They're of Spanish descent. It's red chili on the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I was looking at that as if my life was not complete until I tasted that. And now I have to have a little side of mashed potatoes with some red chili on it. It's so good. I have to send some of that up to our man up in Colorado with ESPN, the lineman for the Broncos. Not Stink, does the show with him. Golly, he's the chili man. I bet he would love some red chili.
I thought Schlereth had
Schlereth, that's it.
That's Stink.
That's Stink, yeah, Schlereth.
Yeah, he has his own. He sells it at like Costco's and stuff.
Yeah.
It's called like Stinking Good Chili or something.
Well, it's
like
one
that.
of those things that, not being a guy that was raised around chili, I just never would have thought to, hey, put some of that on your mashed potatoes.
Okay, high stakes, Bo. Without further ado, your number 1.
Number 1, stuffing.
Wow.
The greatest
Strong play.
thing. I love stuffing. Like, literally, when it gets to be about August, September, I won't even allow my wife to make stovetop. We can't have stovetop because Thanksgiving's around the corner, and somebody is going to make some real stuffing. The only thing, as I told you before the show, they're getting better at the Rivera house when I go to their Thanksgiving. They need the quantity has to go up. My son, he's starting to eat like me. You can't just make 1 or 2 boxes
I
for
think you
guys
can
my
say
size.
it. I mean, you picked up on a slight cultural disparity.
Yeah.
You noticed that some cultures aren't big on stuffing.
They're not. But it's funny now because we were talking about the Thanksgiving meal, and everybody has said, and let Bo know, we're going to make plenty of stuffing. So they're getting the message, buddy.
Oh,
they're
they're
coming around.
already thinking about you. That's nice. Okay, now for my number one, gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Gravy is the most important part of the Thanksgiving meal. You can put it on anything.
Yeah.
You put it on the stuffing, put it on your greens, put it on the turkey,
Put it on your sandwich the next
put it on.
day.
Yeah, I mean, that is the best.
Makes great dipping sauce.
Yeah, number one has to be gravy. Now, that concludes our Thanksgiving power rankings for this year, Bo. But we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our least favorite item on the Thanksgiving spread. Now, for me, Bo, I don't want to upset you, but it's got to be corn.
Oh,
I
my
don't.
God.
It's a waste of a bowl.
I love corn.
Yeah, but there's so many other good options, man. It's like you're taking up precious real estate in your gut.
Corn is the fabric of my life. Like, I was raised around corn. When Children of the Corn came out, other kids were scared for a night. I was scared until harvest season was over.
I'm gonna get death threats from Indiana and Ohio farmers now. I know it.
Oh, man. When I read my list of least favorite things for Thanksgiving, it's real simple. They all either start or end with the words vegetable, fruit, or salad.
It's fair enough.
I have no place for it on that day.
A side note about corn, maybe it was a dark moment in my childhood. It makes me not like corn all that much. Fun fact, I was almost run over by a combine in a cornfield.
Nice.
Yeah, I ran out there. I lived in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, surrounded by cornfields. And went exploring at the wrong part of year, and a farmer luckily stopped the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're real lucky there. That wouldn't have been a good one. There'd
That's
be
a
no
mess-
Sean and Bo show.
That's a messy way to go.
Yeah. We probably would have ate you.
All right. Well, that was the important part of the show. But now we talk football, and the college football playoff rankings came out, and it was a boring week. No change in the top four, Bo.
Yeah. And, it continues to happen. We're looking at Florida State, last year's champion, 10-0, number 3. I don't understand why they're not number 1. We're only 1 year removed from a system where we allowed a computer, the Associated Press, and a coaches poll to decide who played for the national title. Yet you fast forward to this point now, and we're sitting here with a poll that lets us think that being the returning national champ, taking everybody's best shot, and still being 10-0 is only worth third best in the country. Number 3.
It comes back to strength of schedule.
I
That's
don't
what's
buy
biting them
into
in the
that.
ass.
I don't buy into that because you're going to tell me Ohio State number 6, really where they need to be? All the teams in the Big Ten they've played, strength of schedule.
Now, where did Ole Miss drop to? They dropped in this ranking, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know how far they actually got because they got beat again. They fell pretty far.
Now, let me grab the rankings.
Yeah, check that out. But it's real simple. Everybody's already talking about the possible Baylor TCU flip-flop. The only problem is Ohio State's sitting right there in the middle with a potential big game in front of them in the Big Ten championship if Wisconsin is able to get past Minnesota. Because beating Minnesota again is not going to impress anybody, but beating Wisconsin with their run game, Melvin Gordon leading that attack, that will give them a chance to leapfrog somebody.
Number 19.
Yeah.
So they're done.
Number 19, and with the chance to end the season on a high note, taking care of Mississippi State, so we can all sit here and pull our hair out.
If they do in that game, yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
do they both drop to 10-ish?
What do you say? There's a lot of teams out there that would like to think that's the case, but what are you going to say to Georgia, for example? What if Missouri, loses their game against Arkansas, which I think that's very doable. They go to the SEC title game, beat Alabama. They're so far down there, they don't even have a shot. But looking at their resume and what they've done and when they lost their one game, why are they any different from some of these other teams we have up there? We're still at a crossroads where there's a lot of they could still lose to them, they could beat them, and who beat who. So we got to let this shake out. I just think returning national champs with an undefeated record deserve a little bit more cred in a poll like this.
Now, looking ahead towards this weekend's game, of course, we have the Iron Bowl. Is that game the most likely for an upset, or do you see another game happening this weekend?
The big one, I think, is Arizona State, Arizona. You have to ask yourself, who do you want playing Oregon for that chance to, make a big splash, maybe play yourself into something. But that Arizona State, Arizona, for once in their life, it can be the biggest game. I never thought I'd say this. It probably is the biggest game over the SEC rivalries.
Yeah. Well, and you know what else is sadly hilarious to me is that about a month and a half ago, I was talking with my other Notre Dame fan buddies, and we're like, all right, man, make sure everybody takes off work for the last game of the season, Notre Dame SC. We'll have a big party, we'll barbecue, it'll be awesome.
Yep.
What does that game mean now?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Nothing to nobody.
If you just had that crystal ball and you could look into it, we'd all be a lot richer and wiser, but we don't. And they got to play these games. Like I said, this last week, and then what this week's matchups present as far as how they're going to affect the potential conference championship games. In 3-4 weeks, Sean, we could be sitting here looking at a top 4 that doesn't include 3 of these teams.
Yeah, totally possible.
It's
I
true.
mean, that's where these teams are going to basically take themselves out this time of the year, all the conference championships. So it's
Have you seen Georgia Tech?
yeah, everything's very, very much still in flux, and that's it's one of the things that I was wondering how people would react to these rankings on a weekly basis, being that we know the drastic shifts that can take place in college football this time of the year. Would people react strongly to the rankings? Would they care every week before we got to this time of the year? And yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And people, Florida State fans were getting very angry, weeks ago, but it's all going to be ironed out and it's all going to shake out. And I agree with you. I would not.
And if you're a fan out there that wants to believe you're going to lose that conference championship game and still be in this discussion, get that out of your head. That's just to sell wolf tickets on ESPN and Fox News. That's not going to happen. You need to win out. This is win out time. You're not going to lose a game and back yourself. This isn't the NFL playoffs. You don't back your way into it. I think the teams that are 3-0 the last 4 weeks and played in the top 10 in the last 4 weeks are going to be in that conversation.
Well, on to the professionals. I was a little worried on Sunday. I was looking at my picks. I was looking at Bo's picks. I was like, could this be a return of Bo's system? But as we all know, lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. Bo and I ended up tying last week, so I didn't have to go back and count our picks yet to see if Bo was inching his way back into this competition. So don't worry about that.
Broke even.
I'm still
all right.
still way ahead of Bo.
I'm going to go undefeated one of these weeks.
No, you're not. And it's not going to be this week either because your Cowboys have a very important game. And we already know who you're going to pick. So without further ado, let's get on to NFL picks for this week.
Keep in mind, I'm taking this abuse from a man who gave the win to the Raiders. Yes, I had to go to a baby shower the next day, ladies and gentlemen, and I seen Raiders Nation everywhere. Raiders Nation was in the baby shower. It was in the grocery store. They were wearing jerseys. They might as well have been painting their faces. Thank you, Sean, for allowing Raider Nation to be celebratory.
I'm surprised those Raider fans got into the grocery store without shoes on.
Well, they didn't wear shoes because they were all clicking them so hard, wishing for that win. That's what it was a miracle. You guys don't sweat that. It's one game.
I was sitting over here in a lotus position, rocking back and forth, just chanting, "It's only one game. It's only one game." And we'll get to my Chiefs because they do have a huge game on Sunday night. But let's take a look at the Turkey Day games. Starts off in the morning.
Greatest Turkey Day ever.
Yeah, these are some great games this year. This is going to be good. Chicago at Detroit. Spread in that game, Detroit by 3. As we know, Chicago's been winning games lately, but I don't think they're going to do it on Thanksgiving. I'll take Detroit.
Yeah, these wins at Chicago are just squeaking out. They're not convincing. Jay Cutler, he's not really doing anything that's, he's not going to get a Pro Bowl nod from what he's doing out there on the field. So we'll go ahead and take Detroit. I trust in Stafford.
Now, I want something to root for on Thanksgiving, which is why I circled Philadelphia on my picks. Bo, I don't really think I need to ask you.
Why do we go down this road? This man is going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles over the Dallas Cowboys.
That's right.
A team that in the past few weeks has showed they could be picked apart. You can slow down Philly in that attack. Dallas, on the other hand, as long as Tony Romo's upright and not high on cortisone,
That's a big
we're
as
good.
long as.
We're good.
I don't know.
Dallas, Big D, baby, Turkey Day. Make that turkey sound great. You know,
No.
that turkey's going to taste so good. I'm going to send you a pic with grease and giblet gravy dripping from my chin.
I'd rather you don't. And Bo texted me a picture the other day of what he has planned for his children.
Yes.
For his children on Thanksgiving. Bo, tell the people what you're going to do.
Yeah, as you know, McDonald's and their crappy food, they gave out one of those figurines in their Happy Meal. And my children, you know, all kids eventually get a Happy Meal out of you. They got a Philadelphia Eagles like running back figurine.
So you confiscated it.
Yeah, well, my kids bring it to me because that's contraband in our house. You don't operate with that kind of stuff. So they bring it to me right away. Dad, this is not our team, and it's the Eagles. So I put it in a drawer where we put all things that we're getting ready to throw away in the house. And I thought,
put a Bible on top of the figurine so
Yeah.
none of the juju gets loose.
I'm thinking to myself, oh, Turkey Day game coming up. And my son's looking at this figurine like, Dad, why do we still have that? I'm like, guess what? Because we're going to burn it before the Cowboys play the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day. So we got the lighter fluid ready, got some matches.
I hope Child Protective Services isn't listening to this.
Hey, brainwashing is a activity that's done over a long period of time. You just can't do it all at once. You know, I'm creating Cowboys fans over here.
No, you're creating institutionalized children. Hope they don't inhale those noxious fumes from that figurine. All right, final game on Thanksgiving Day, and I always used to love this game. This is the game where Madden used to give away the turducken legs, right?
Yeah.
And it always struck me that like the players, it's not like they were just given some crappy trophy and I'm like, oh, okay, great, thanks. You could see it in their eyes. Their eyes light up. They're like, hell yes, get in my stomach. And they actually devour that thing on national television. I'm hoping this year they give it to Marshawn Lynch because I just want to see that awkward scenario unfold. But this is a fun game that I've always enjoyed watching.
Yeah, that turkey is usually the reason I'm heading back to the kitchen. Whenever you see that, you're like, oh, man, that just looks good. You go heat up some turkey, get some mayo, some nice bread, and there you go. Nice turkey sandwich.
All right, so in this game, the spread is San Francisco by 1 over Seattle. Oh, man, I don't believe in San Francisco anymore. I did, and you were right about that. You hit the nail on the head. I just think Seattle, if they're not hungry now, you kind of have to wonder when that fire is going to show up. I bet you Marshawn Lynch has a great game. I think that there's a very decent chance that he does get that drumstick. So I'm going to take Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle too. And, you know, something I've been like, you know, watching a little film and got the week off of work with the holiday. I was looking at San Francisco and I was trying to go back a few years ago and what's changed. They don't have the guy that stretches the field. There for a while, when Harbaugh inherited that team, he mixed the power with the speed that was there. Now they're all power. And even Vernon Davis can't stretch the field down the middle like he used to. So all that college offense they run, you just stack the box and shut them down. Until they get somebody that can just blaze down the field and Cap can let one go deep just to, you know, put up the appearance of a deep threat with San Francisco. They're going to continue to be mediocre. Seattle wins that big.
Okay, another game on to the Sunday games that I don't think will be close at all is Washington at Indy. Indy, let's see, current spread is 9.5. That's a big spread. I'd probably take that. I think Indy wins big.
Yeah, I'll go ahead with Indianapolis. I learned last week, even though they are prone to playing to the level of their competition, that old Colts team. But I'm still going to pick the Colts.
Couple of crappy early games. Tennessee at Houston. I'll take Houston in that. And Cleveland at Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo in that.
Yeah, with this lineup of early games, I'm probably going to hold off on a turkey sandwich. What are you thinking, these early lineups?
You won't make it till 11:30, bro. Don't lie to these people.
Let's go ahead and give me Houston.
taking Buffalo as well?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. You really like those Browns. You still haven't learned your lesson about picking them. All right. This one's going to be a great game.
They won last week.
Yeah, whatever. Lucky. San Diego at Baltimore. Of course, Baltimore looked like world beaters against the Saints. I think they're playing inspired football right now. I think Baltimore's going to roll.
Ooh, haven't you learned your lesson? For some reason, these West Coast pro teams cannot wake up. It's probably because they're all out till 2 a.m. on Friday nights.
At Baltimore.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Baltimore.
Yeah. Another stinker of an early game. Giants at Jacksonville. I don't care, but I'll take the Giants anyway.
Really? You're going to go with the New York Football Giants.
They're bound to show up one of these games. Jacksonville's not going to.
I know. You got to go with the Giants.
Cincinnati, which looks to pretty much have that division wrapped up, plays at Tampa Bay. Spread in that one is only Cincy by 4. Not as big of a spread as I would expect, but I guess that's because they're on the road. I would probably bet that spread and take Cincy to win.
Cincinnati.
And then we got the Raiders traveling to St. Louis. Well, we already touched on the Oakland victory. I don't think that's happening again, though. I think they'll lose the rest of the games this season. Give me the Rams.
Give me Oakland.
You are insane.
Nope.
This is why you're not going to go undefeated.
No, we found
It's crazy
something
picks
out
like
last
that.
week about Oakland.
You found out nothing besides the fact that they intentionally roughed up their field to
I
slow
know,
down
but
Kansas City.
All you guys kind of match up the same, like the St. Louis,
evil,
Oakland.
evil damn scientist in Oakland with the weather machine that made it rain.
No, I'm telling you, teams like that are funny. They learn how to win, mess around, and win 4 in a row.
Do you think Oakland wins that game against Kansas City if the weather wasn't as it was?
No, that dropped interception at the end, that would have put the game away right there. I mean, but winning's a funny thing. I was a part of a team that was 0-45.
Oh, and
they win one game, and the next thing you know, the kids are coming to practice the next week like, they're world beaters.
Can we talk about that play in the Kansas City-Oakland game where they sacked Alex Smith and then were 25 yards down the field celebrating? Oh, my God.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
I was like, well, there you go. Raiders being the Raiders. I knew they'd find a way to screw this up.
That's where all that Pro Bowl talent on the field comes in handy, because if Justin Tuck doesn't call that timeout, they lose that game potentially.
Tuck said he wanted to fight those guys.
Yeah, did you see him? Oh, my. I would have been afraid if Justin Tuck with that face mask is yelling at me like that. Yeah, I don't want any part of it.
Next game, New Orleans, fresh off that defeat at home, travels to Pittsburgh. As you know, New Orleans, a dome team, and it's awfully cold in that part of Pennsylvania. Give me the Steelers.
Yes, New Orleans is bad. Let's go Pittsburgh.
And the final early game on Sunday, Carolina at Minnesota. Geez, this is a tough one for me to pick. Spread Minnesota by 3. That just doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence, but I don't see what weapons Carolina has. By the way, I totally called it. Jason Avant signed by the Chiefs. Knew it would happen. We'll take that weapon. Sure, no problem. I guess give me Minnesota in this one, but I am not confident.
Yeah, I'd go with Minnesota too and Teddy Bridgewater. Something about Jason Avant. I was reading a story where they plan on using him in the slot. I was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting that the Jason Avant acquisition actually will make Dwayne Bowe's production go up? I think you can't put that extra guy over top of Bowe. Watch out. He could be shades of LSU all over again.
You know what's crazy about this week is that since we have 3 games on Thanksgiving, there are only 2 afternoon games, both of which will be nationally televised. So between the 3 on Thanksgiving, those 2, the late game, and Monday Night Football, that's 7 games that everybody in America is going to be watching together. So there should be some inspired water cooler discussion around the office next week.
Yeah.
So on to those afternoon games, the first of which, Arizona at Atlanta. I think Atlanta is one of the crappiest teams in the entire league. Arizona rolls them.
Yeah, Arizona's pass defense is going to give them fits. Definitely Arizona.
And this next game, I am going to go against the chalk on this one. It might be a risky pick on my part. New England at Green Bay. The spread, Green Bay by 3. Forget that. Patriots win.
Wow.
I'm going out on a limb with this one. It might bite me in the ass, but
Yeah.
I think the Patriots are kind of figuring teams out right now.
I'm going to go ahead and pick like somebody that goes 10-5 the previous week and take Green Bay.
All right. And the late game, Bo, this Sunday is going to be such a long day for me. I love seeing my team, nationally spotlit, but it just makes the whole day so slow. I'm just sitting around pretending to care about these other games when I just waiting for that Sunday night.
It's like she says, waiting all day for Sunday night. There we go.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell her outfit is made of, by the way. It looks like she fell into a pile of really fancy wrapping paper or something. I think most of the stuff that she's wearing is flammable. But anyway, the late game, Denver at Kansas City. This game has probably as big of playoff implications as that Dallas and Philly game does. I don't have a choice. I have to pick KC, but also I really do think they're going to win. That Arrowhead crowd is unbelievable. It's going to be the difference in this game. They almost beat Denver the first time they played at Denver. This time it's going to go KC's way at home.
Yeah, Denver has struggled against good defenses, and that's what Kansas City's bringing to the table.
I think there's going to be plan for Eric Berry, too.
Yeah, Eric Berry.
I think that's going to be an emotionally charged up team that's had a long week and a half to prepare.
Oh, that's what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. That's the lead story. They're going to talk about Eric Berry, his condition, what they know. They're probably going to bring on some specialists and things. That's what, that's going to be the concern. Given that surrounding the game, but most importantly with me, a team coming off of a loss that they felt like they were set up for, a trap game. Kansas City's having some real focus meetings right now. I'm going to go with KC.
And finally, your Monday nighter. I don't think too many DVRs are going to be set for this one, but speaking of trap game, this could potentially be one. Monday Night Football features Miami at the New York Jets. Spread Miami by, can't read my own handwriting, looks like 5.5. I don't know about that spread. Probably would not bet the spread, but I will take Miami to win.
Yeah, got to take Miami. I think they're now running an ad in the want pages, of New York trying to look for a quarterback. Gino has played some. Vic was sit out. We don't know what the future holds for Rex Ryan. It is a dumpster fire in the Jets organization. Go with Miami. But what's funny about what you were saying, Sean, I don't think there's going to be a lot of DVR set. This game will still have like 6 million more people watching it than anything else on TV.
Well, of course, it's the NFL.
It's football.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
There's still some turkey left in the fridge. What am I supposed to watch while I eat this? NASCAR? I don't think so.
Hey, their season's over.
Whatever. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Sean and Bo Show. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your family. To everybody out there, thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next week. So I'm Sean O'Donnell, along with my co-host, Bo Greer, reminding you, tip your pizza man.
See you next week.
Yeah.